Hello there folks, and welcome to a 1 versus 1 cast. Currently we're just waiting for the players to spawn themselves in. This time we've got Superouman in blue and Mot in yellow. This is not a riffraff cast, this is just one that I've hopped into off the Realm TeamSpeak. Now this is the first time I've ever played on one of these sort of custom-made maps. I believe Superouman made this one, and it's even complete with a unit cannon, which is of course complete with the out of order sign there. Anyway, zooming back out as the players spawn in on pretty much exactly the opposite side of the planet, of course, because of the nature of the custom planet, symmetrical as pos and all that. So what we can even do is employ the picture-in-picture there. I almost forgot the name of it. And camera anchors as well. So on the light side of the planet currently we've got Superouman in blue going for the double vehicle spawn. Not currently queued up anything following that, but he's got a fabricator out first, and I suspect perhaps a 1-1 opening. But by the look of it, he's going lots and lots of tanks, and lots more tanks than he has sense or cells in his brain. Actually, no, he's going for a 2-0 currently. Perhaps his commander will get the PGen. Nope, he'll follow that with an air factory, which will get the all-important early game scouting. Excuse my voice, I've been very tired the past couple of days. Meanwhile, Mot, on the other hand, contrastingly, has gone for heavy bot build with a 1-1, in fact a 1-2, 2-1 there. 2-1. There we are. So one, of course, relating to 2 mechs, 1 PGen, and now transitioning to vehicles. Of course, bots versus vehicles is not a favourable matchup, especially if the vehicles have anywhere near the same number as the bots do in their army. Wow, that was an interesting one. If we zoom out there from Super's point of view, you can see the Fireflies have been built. They'll start moving around and getting the scout early on as well, and he'll be able to expand to claim the majority of the mechs within this little enclave that he has here. And out goes the Firefly now, and of course the players know pretty much where the other one has spawned. Given the nature of the map, it's just a case of actually knowing what is being built more than anything else. And there, of course, the Firefly getting the scout off, I believe, or did it miss it? I think it missed it, only very just. Wow, that was close. I think he's just perhaps he's put a patrol path there. Nope, he's decided to move it in. There we go, seeing vehicles first, but he also saw the bot fabricators and the bot factories as well. So he does have a good idea that Mot is going for a mixed build. Meanwhile, Super has gone for heavy vehicles and a couple of air factories as well. So we might even see an attempted bomber snipe if Mot can't get out some defensive interceptors. But of course, he hasn't yet put up an air factory, hasn't even queued one up yet. This could be potentially problematic later in the game for him. Of course, these fabricators here are just going to continue to expand for both players. In fact, this is going to be the case. I wonder what the... that is the... yeah, I was just getting the hotkey for the switch picture-in-picture there. Apologies for that. Just wanted to make sure it worked. I don't know why I had to click it so many times. Incoming for a bomber attempt at a few fabricators. Not managing to find any expanding ones yet, so we'll get the scout off with the Firefly there. Seeing a whole bunch of fabricators in the middle of the group there. The Bumblebee going down in the middle of all of that. All of those docks go down. Fantastic bombing run. It took down 2 fabricators with him. He just needs to find the other group of fabricators over on the other side. Commander does take the Bumblebee down, however, but a second bombing run will probably be ready momentarily. And of course, the tanks are moving in as well. If we go back to over Superouman's side, we see the ants moving around the place. I could refer to them as ants, but they're actually called bolos. But they are on the horizon of Mot's base here. They will need to wait for superior numbers, because Mot does have this group of docks over here trying desperately to defend those fabricators. And of course now, having seen the bombing run, he's going to have to put up some anti-air of his own and get out the air factory there, which he's rallied his commander to do, so it does it super fast. Looking at the economy tab there, Superouman and Mot both using their economy pretty well, only stalling occasionally and not particularly hard. Both players could sort of be getting up a bit more in the case of factories there, though Superouman definitely does need more PGens, as he only has 3 in his base currently. He does need to put up a few more. If we see that commander there in could stop producing that factory and build some more P-gens. That's really what he needs. He's getting all of that building at once. Oh wow, another bombing run, taking down the fabricators in that clump as well. So definitely running out of fabricators for Mot here. The Superouman now pushing in with his tanks of his own. But the docks, the dancing docks, will be able to fight these tanks back without too much of a problem. Do lose a number of their units though, and they walk straight past the other tanks. So that one does survive. Not for a particularly large amount of time. Forest fires not doing any damage to the units, but they do of course to trees around them. And the tank here does have the superior range, I believe, although it looks pretty much comparable. That might be the elevation. The tank managing to take down a good number of those docks there as well, while they're slightly distracted with the interceptors. Looking back in Mot's base, he is getting up some more factories as well, which is a good, very heavy build for the vehicles, and some P-gens as well, which is good. However, on the southern entrance we do have a few tanks coming in. They are going to find this guard, the sentry guard here, and take him down of course, which will alert Super to the existence of these tanks. He'll probably scramble those bumblebees to come and move over and do it, and indeed he does. There is an interceptor defending it. Unfortunately the bumblebees don't manage to do too much damage there. They did get a couple of shots off, but Super will be able to defend against this. And as soon as he builds out another interceptor, which I hope he does, as his air factory is about to go down there actually, which is going to be a little bit of a blow. It means he's not going to be able to continue with his bomber harass necessarily for the time being. He does need to put up another air factory. That is going to be important for him to do. And it's also going to be important for him to retain air superiority, as Mod has just scouted this idle fabricator over here. So if he gets out a cheeky bumblebee, he can get off a really good snipe there. But the fabricator trying desperately to get up the AA turret. Hopefully Mot won't notice that before it finishes, at which point he'll lose those interceptors. But having a quick glance back over at Mot's base, he's not really bothering too much with the bombers, just the air superiority. Just absolute, complete and utter control of the air. And the AA tower does get completed there, and the interceptors will get taken down ultimately as a result of that. They do flee, unfortunately, so they do live for another engagement. Has he scouted the T2 vehicle factory? No, he has not. So Super does have this advantage here, providing he can keep it a secret, because Mot does have aircraft moving around all over the place, just keeping an eye on things. However, back in Mot's base, we do have a little encroachment here from a few vehicles. They are getting pushed back though, because Mot just has so many more units than Super does. And he can build even more if he wants to, because looking at his economy there, he's floating so much. 30 max floating and 5k power. He can get up so many more factories with that, and he could even transition to bots here and just sort of start ducking and weaving around all these tanks and really hitting Super back on his mechs advantage that he has currently 162, which is a 42 advantage over Mot. If he does take that down, it'll also mean that his wishes to go to T2 vehicles will be slightly hampered, not particularly overwhelmingly, but just a little bit. Super now retreating to the choke point to put all of his vehicles back together, taking pot shots as he goes. Not deciding not to give chase and to perhaps skirt around the outside. That's what I would have done, certainly. Just to, why bother engaging when you can move around and take out some resources, because he's just scouted with those aircraft and he's seen, there's no defence over here, so let's move over there and we can do whatever we want. Moving up to T2 bots though, this is an interesting move from Mot. If he gets sniper bots out of there, he can do a lot of damage to vehicles before they can to him, which will mean he can start gaining greater ground in this sort of central route here between the bases. Not even sure what the planet's name is. Origin. There we are. Interesting that neither player has really used this side of the planet. They've all sort of been going this mainstay between the two bases there. In fact, looks as though it might even be shorter had they gone the other way around. Ever so slightly shorter. But that's probably just me splitting hairs, as these vehicles now bypassing those from Mot, but they are going to do a little bit of damage here, and if they find the commander they'll be able to do a fair amount of damage to him, plus scout the bot factory there. The T2 vehicle factory is now complete. What's he going to build first? I hope some shellers. Levelers instead, wow. Mech's now dropping on the southern side, southwest of Super's base there, which isn't going to be too great for him as he's drastically trying to get up some point defence, but he has to reclaim trees before he does so, so that's going to cause a little bit of a delay, which isn't particularly handy for him, certainly to say the least. But he has put up some defence there to block off those choke points, which is really good movement. really good there. Tanks do move in. How much damage have they gone on the commander there? None whatsoever, so that push from Super was null and void. Moving back over to Super's base now as we get into the nitty-gritties here, as these tanks just start pushing in, doing whatever they want to there. The turrets are complete, so they will do a little bit of damage before falling themselves. Taking down a couple of P-gens as well, and the fabricators will follow suit. Now the really good thing here with Mot's forces, he's got a rather mixed force. He's got some anti-air in there as well, so if Super did want to move to Bumblebees, he'd have to take out the spinners first, and he's got the docks in there as well for the slightly superior vision range I believe they offer compared to the Ant. The tank, the Ant, the Bolo, whatever. A unit is a unit, a tank is a tank. The levelers now pushing in, scaring them away just a little bit. They don't want to get taken down though, pushing in perhaps a little bit too close as one that does fall down, and the advanced laser turrets will go up now. The advanced turrets are so much better against vehicles than they are against bots, because of course the bots are pretty much one shot to single barrel turrets rather than triple. T3 turrets there. So what he could do now is transition to heavy bots. Despite he's going for sniper bots already, but he could even go for multiple docks, whoops, and really be able to sort of duck and weave around those turrets there. But Mot in this game has got a much better chance than Super does currently, though Super was the first to the T2, but Mot's group now moving out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see his commander following this, because he's been known to use his commander incredibly aggressively in recent games. And the sniper bots are going to be particularly problematic for the levelers, to say the least. Levelers will ultimately fall far before the sniper bots do, and these bumblebees here doing a really good job of taking out the perimeter defences. Unfortunately the interceptors are just a little bit too late, and Mot's going to have to reproduce those as soon as he possibly can. I'm not sure whether he'll follow this out and scout in. If we go to Super's vision there, we'll see the units move in. He does see that force there. He doesn't see the sniper bots. That is important. He did not see the sniper bots there. He doesn't have an inkling as to the T2 bot factory. So Mot still has the element of surprise this close to Super's base. This is a problem. No, it's just going to take those two sniper bots to take out the levelers, and the backbone of Super's defense is gone. Especially if he moves his commander out onto the forefront there. But he is getting up the triple barrel turrets. He does want to get out walls as well. That's somewhat more important. If you can block the sniper shots with the walls. I'm not sure if you can. I haven't really tried it myself. I've not really experienced T2 vehicles since launch. Not T2 vehicles, sorry, T2 bots since the launch patch. But so many bots from Super. What an interesting way to go about a transition, going from heavy vehicles to more heavy bots, and then letting them dribble in. Oh, that's really not good. Let's have a look at the sniper bots there, as they just take pot shots off as the levelers go down. Only two remain, a few more behind the perimeter defences, but of course they don't need to bother going straight for that force when they can just skirt around the outside. Defence is desperately trying to get up here, but I think it might be a little bit too late, because this is going to cause a dent if Mot just decides to move them in just a little bit, and indeed they are. Unfortunately they skirt a little bit too far, allowing Super to sort of reroute the majority of his defensive forces to this little region right here. There's so many shots going off here, but Mot does overwhelm in that instance. Super saying colours. He probably has the various mods and awesome projectiles and whatnot that people keep pestering me about. To me it's fine, I don't mind it. He does manage to get up a catapult though, so that's going to be slightly more problematic for Mot. Really good idea to get up that catapult. He does lose a vehicle factory in that engagement, But Super really needs to start going on the offensive, because if we go back to Mot's base here, in fact I hadn't set up a camera anchor for Mot's base, that's a problem. There we go. He's got another surprise up his sleeve, because he's got so many more sniper bots in this force that he's going to go around the weaker defended sides. It's only 1 point defense here, and now Super's sort of pushing out. Wow, he doesn't like that group of trees, does he? But he's pushing out the other side of his base, leaving this side pretty much open to siege. And if Mot can exploit this fast, he can do a fair amount of damage. A lot of interceptors coming in now, going to take out this forward scouting party. Again, we will want to move away from the spinners though, so they don't get picked off there preemptively. Or prematurely, or whatever you wish to call it. But the bumblebees there are beginning to accumulate in number. If they can stay hidden but continue to accumulate, they could pose a potential bomber snipe. Now Super has continued to expand with mechs, as has Mot, so they're still pretty much tied. Mot with a slightly superior economy though, with his power at about 25k, though he is floating it. He could be building it up a bit more, though he does need to start putting up perhaps some T2 metal. He is beginning to in the middle of his base though, but he can still expand so much further out in the middle here, because he has control of this quadrant here effectively, whereas Super trying for the northern side quadrant. But Mot delaying just a little bit there, and perhaps overextending with the bumblebees, as a few do get shot down. They could chase in there and take them all down, but Super electing to continue to keep his interceptors alive rather than trade them for the bumblebees and have to rebuild them later on, because of course if he does take out the bumblebees, the interceptors will take down his interceptors and he'll come out the worse with fewer interceptors there. But obviously he wants to keep air superiority for defensive purposes rather than offensive ones. Meanwhile, the force coming in from the northern side, seeing all those bumblebees, is going to get absolutely decimated. And then of course the rerouting of all those forces. Now Mot's forces, whereabouts are they? They must be arriving sooner or later. But of course all of the expanding fabricators and mechs will ultimately go down here, because there's not too much Super can do. He does still have that group of interceptors which he can reroute to the top there, but he's electing not to do that. And there's the fabricator there, focused down by all of that aircraft. Overkill much, as forest fires are started as well. Perhaps will that turn into a forest fire? Well, I don't know. It's not exactly crucial to the game. But putting up a couple of forward bases here. That's not a proxy base by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely a forward base. And it does get spotted and get taken down by that level of force pretty soon as well. Mot now fleeing with his expanding fabricators as he soars ahead on metal, 370 to 240. That's incredibly painful. Plus he's floating as well. He can get out even more factories. He's got 2 advanced bot factories now. That's going to pile on the sniper bots. He can even start moving in some Blue Hawks and Slammers if he really wanted to, but snipers are probably the best against the vehicles and the levelers there. Docks moving in, not exactly advised, given the fact that they're going against vehicles of relatively even numbers. Though he will come out slightly better in that engagement regardless, because he did have that critical mass there to overcome the relative critical mass of Super, and the levelers go down as well. And that leaves Mot, of course, free to push in from that side, and he's actually broken in through the back of Superouman's base now. This is going to present an issue for Super as he starts to lose his base, and all of his forces, of course, and defences are on the other side of his base. So he's going to start losing factories and eco as well, not to mention attention that he could probably be better placed elsewhere. Certainly at this point in the game. Now what Mot can also do, of course, is begin to start forking begin forking Super here and move units in from multiple fronts at once. Divide and conquer, of course. But, the sniper's trying to keep away from the vehicles there, taking really good pot shots off. Probably see the leveler go down there. 40 damage in one go, 40% that is. I don't know the exact numbers that go down there. Apparently there's a commander under attack. I think that was probably the sniper bots there, getting hits through the walls. He does want to move away. Wow, he fell down to 40 very quickly there. Those snipers presenting a really big problem for him. As they back up against the walls, going to take down the levelers there that are pushing in on them. But that was a really good move there from Mot, and of course now he just needs to use some bumblebees. However, given that I've just said that, the problem with that assumption is that there's just so much anti-air around inside Mot's base. There's so many bits of flak, just sort of, not Mot, sorry, Super's base, just sort of dotted around, and a lot of T1 AA as well. Just the Galata turret. But Super at this point, if we go into the army tab, he's not really got much of an army. He's got fewer factories, and he's got a weaker economy, running at a lower efficiency as well. Plus, he's sort of bottled himself into a little defensive corner here, giving Mot free reign over the rest of the map. With the control there, as Mot continues to get up more factories. Let's see, has he planned any more? No. Yes, he has there, the T2, excuse me, the T2 bot factories, but Mot now just out-producing Super so very hard, out-ecoing him as well and out-expanding him, that I suspect we might even see the final push here soon. He does need to start putting in some Blue Hawks though, because if he puts in some Blue Hawks he'll be able to take down these sort of defensive lines, and he needs to get up a more advanced level of air offensive force as well. These forces here, the docks moving at the same rate as the tanks. You want to move the docks in, utilise their full speed there. The interceptors going in, taking down the bombers, the bomber aggro rather, and fortunately they are going to move towards the flak. That's not what they want to do, not in any stretch of the imagination. Leaving the T2 Fabra alive there. Oh my goodness, it's so much death to those planes, and all the bumblebees are actually gone in that force there. Sniper bots pulling back just so they don't get shot down by the levelers there, but having taken down the levelers they can now probably start to move in just a little bit more. Wow, so many interceptors lost there for not a lot of gain. But they did manage to take down the catapult. There is one still within Super's base though. But this is the Siege of the Rumen. Boombots there, conglomerating on the 4, trying desperately to be able to take down the sniper bots, but of course the boom bots are actually much better against sniper bots than anything else there. They got quite close because sniper bots take quite a while in between shots, whereas the boom bots can just charge and overcome that with their rapid movement speed. Unfortunately there are lots of tanks defending those snipers now as they close ranks in front of the snipers there. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Super to defend against this force, and not only that, but Mot probably has a secondary force coming in. In fact he does. Some snipers from the north side there can be a little bit of a pesky nuisance. But I'm surprised Super hasn't decided to perhaps change up his strategy here, because he's turtling so hard, but he's not doing any damage to Mot. Mot now powering ahead with the eco, even more so than before, 600 to 300 in terms of the mechs there, which is incredible. Pushing out his forces, not exactly advised, because if you think back to sort of medieval sieges, you don't tend to leave your castle to do battle. You tend to make it a case of attrition. Only in the sort of special operations cases would you tend to leave the castle for the sort of the undermining and that sort of stuff. Yeah, a few messages on the TeamSpeak there. I'm not sure if they're for me or not. They are not, so I will ignore those in future, and we'll just wait for this game to finish, because of course the shellers are coming out now. This is probably a much better response. Unfortunately they did get taken down by the sniper bots. They moved out in front of everything else, not exactly advised. And a few bumblebees here now coming in as well, again with the interceptors. I wonder what their target is going to be. Probably this T2 fabricator. Well, the various T2 fabricators is probably what I would go for, but perhaps they're going to try for a bomber snipe instead, having taken down all the expansions, that is. Meanwhile, here we have the four-pronged attack, really, I should say. And, if Super can defend against this, well, wonder what he can't defend against. If we do look now, I wonder what the Bumblebee's target is going to be as they move in, start getting taken down by the AA there. And the majority of the bombers were just taken down before the interceptors could take the aggro. It wasn't exactly advised, was it? Not entirely sure what their target is though. I think they're going to try and take down the shellers. But they've lost all their bumblebees, so it doesn't make any difference anymore. Boombots coming in again against docks, not advised, and certainly not the best exchange there ever was. And the sniper bots there as well, just sort of dancing around. Excuse me, I'm very tired. I've been working the past goodness knows how long on essays and whatnot. I haven't had a full weekend to myself in ages, and I haven't this weekend either. A few pesky docks now skirting around. Going to be able to take down a little bit of Super's production here, but oh my, the catapults. Oh, the catapults hurt so much, and my goodness, my voice has just gone. I don't know what's happened to it. Excuse me. Ah dear, right, so meanwhile in the land of the living, there's sniper bots pushing in from the sort of rear choke point there, taking down a lot of defences and a lot of buildings there as well. This is perhaps the end for Super, as he's going to have to respond to these. Boombots coming in though, not perhaps enough, though they will do a fair amount of damage there, taking down, wow, all of those snipers. Wow, I underestimated the boombots in their fight against sniper bots, who were probably more aggroed against the buildings than they were against the boombots. Really good moves there. Again, apologies for being so tired, but moving out here again. Problem is, even if Super can defend against this, taking a glance back into Mot's base is just so overwhelming. What he really needs to do is just pop up a nuke. He has the economy for it there in the metal. Trying now to get up the T2P gens. There's so many advanced bot factories. Excuse me. And a lot of interceptors there as well. Going away from the bombers, obviously he's not going to get him to do any bomber sniping territory with the amount of flak and AA that's around the base. And Super pushing out with a small force of tanks there. Probably about 22 and more adding to that. But I don't feel as though there's a lot Super can do, unless he really tries very hard for a bomber snipe. But even if he does that, if we look in picture there, which I'll swap to the main view, there's just so many interceptors there that it's not really viable for him at all anymore. And there's the nuke from Mot, as I imagined it. I'm not surprised, I expected such a strategy. And of course, if you find the shell hard to crack, just bloomin' nuke it. Oh wow, nuke race, here we go. Both of these players are in TeamSpeak, of course, so they might be sort of doing a bit of fun here and having a nuke race. Having a look at it though, oh wow, okay, I need to turn off the mirrored. I forgot I had that on there for a second. As I zoomed in on the nuke there, we can see that Mot's actually getting overtaken by Super. Not only having one build power on it there as it approaches 35%, Super now at 37 and focusing down so much more. Problem is, can he defend against it for long enough? And the real issue is, if Mot can get his off first, then the commander will go down, because there's a distinct lack of anti-nukes here. And Super going for the bombers there. Quite a few bumblebees. And that's a lot of forces from Mot as well in the middle there. So many sniper bots and a few slammers mixed in as well. About time we saw some of those, just to lay a bit of the DPS down. Pushing in now, no blue hawks as of yet, not that I can tell, but then again the icons are so similar to the sniper bots. It's quite tricky. But bumblebees there, bypassing the force, deciding, you know what, I'm not going to bother. In fact, oh my word. What on earth is Super planning with all those bumblebees? He could get a commander snipe off, but the interceptor's coming in from Mot. This is the problem for those bumblebees as they all get taken down. Oh my goodness, so much in the air, and Mot managing to take all of that down, claiming superiority over the air again. Back over into Superouman space now. Let's have a look at that nuclear missile as it does go up. This could actually change the game up a bit. If Super can get off this nuke first, it's going to have to be defensive though. FPS drops, yes indeed. He's going to have to go defensive first if he can't deal with this. But if he does go offensive, then he'll be able to, of course, take out the majority of Mot's base there. Or at least a fair portion of it. Doesn't know where the commander is, of course, but he could have gone for a bomber snipe, but he blew that chance a long time ago now. Tanks pushing out, of course, again against the slammers, not exactly advised, and now the factories are going to start going down again, and desperately trying to defend up, getting up a few pelters as well. Pelters have a pretty terrible range. They probably wouldn't even outrange to about where my cursor is now there, to that sort of box. They're pretty pants range, to be honest. But, looking at the nuke there, Mot's silo is finished, working on the missile now, as is Super. Super's got about, there we are, 42% on the missile. And the commander on the front lines, perhaps he hasn't learnt from the last sniper bot engagement there, as he does take a bit of damage again, dropping to 44%. Sniper's desperately trying to come in, taking out that commander, taking out the factories in between them though. Oh wow, it's going to be close for Super as he runs away. Commander trying to stay alive as best he can. But he's lost his defense of his southern side as well. Mot just walling in saying, I'm claiming my territory. This is all mine. Mine for the taking. It's mine, boys. But, Super actually dangerously close to getting a nuke here. This could genuinely turn the tables. As that is, especially if he can find Mot's commander, because all it's going to take is a nuke to hit on the commander and then follow it up with a few bumblebees, and he's got the bumblebees here, and Mot's interceptors are nowhere to be seen. Super could actually turn this into a win if he can get off that nuke really quickly now, as it approaches 75%, 3/4 of the way complete. If Super can just defend for a little bit longer, he can actually turn this into a victory, as long as he finds that commander. Having a look at the base there, he really doesn't have any intel as to the extent of Mot's base, so it's going to be slightly problematic for him. He needs to get out some scouting. I hope he's considered that possibility of the nuke bomber snipe. The nuke there, 89% complete, only a tenth of the way left to go. We could actually see Superouman pull off a comeback here because of this nuke. Mot's nuke, however, nowhere near completion yet, 41%. Of course, this is going to have to be an all-or-nothing strategy for Super. That is, if he doesn't take down the nuke launcher from Mot. If he does, then he has even more time to kill. But snipers moving in from the southern peninsula as well. Gosh, those catapults are just so devastating to those snipers. He needs to get up some more, and there's the nuke going in now. Where's that going to hit? I think that's just going to hit the mainstay of the base there. Will it take down the nuke launcher? That is the question, because I'm not sure Super has the ability to make another nuke in the time. Oh wow, that is going to hit right about here, I suspect. It's going to take down a lot of the power in the production as well. Will take down Super saying nuke, and bang, it does hit. It doesn't take down the nuke launcher. That is crucial. That is oh so very crucial. It did take down so much production though, and it's just stalled Mot's power so hard as it's taken down all of that. Bumblebees coming in, they're probably going to swerve and take down that nuke launcher for their own. But all they need to do actually is find the commander, because they could just do a bomber snipe regularly there. But taking down the nuke launcher, giving them giving Super the chance to put up another nuke here. Super, with that nuke, has just won this game effectively. He just needs to find the commander now, taking down even more power from Mot. Absolutely crippled Mot with that nuke. That was an incredible placement. He does need to find the commander though. He could get off a bomber snipe, but he's moving over a fair few bits of anti-air. There's a second nuke coming up now as well. But meanwhile, Mot on the southern peninsula of Super's base is actually making a hole. And the commander isn't too far away from that, though the defences are holding just. But this is a big push from Mot now. We'll keep an eye on Super's attack forces there in the picture-in-picture, but this is the bigger issue for Super now, as he desperately tries to defend against all of this. The walls go down, that means they're into the mainstay of the base, and they're probably going to locate the commander here now with all of these docks. They do indeed. Now they know exactly where to go. The nuke launcher is going to go down. Can the commander get off a good nuke cannon? No, he will not, as he falls down, and he does get taken down there. Really well played from both of those players. Almost pulled back for a win there from Super. If only he had the intel. If only he had the intel. That was all that was missing there, and he could have turned that into a commander bomber snipe victory. Oh, that was I consider that a really close game, actually. Superouman doing a really good job of turtling his way in there and keeping Mot at bay while he sort of adjusted his strategy over time, but did take quite a long time to do it, though. And Mot not necessarily adapting to the problem in hand particularly brilliantly. Could have gone much heavier on the air, despite the flak, and just overrun the flak completely, especially given that after a fair amount of time Super just stopped attacking Mot. Anyway, that's all for this video, so thanks again for watching. Don't forget to drop a like or a comment. Any feedback is much appreciated, rather than just a dislike, which is effectively useless for my improvement. Don't forget to subscribe for more PA on the way very soon, and share with your friends. Anyway, before I start blabbering on, thanks again for watching. As always, have a nice day.